Hi everyone, welcome back to another layout for the series You're with My Gnomies. I think that's what I'm calling it. It's been so long since I've done a layout that I don't even remember. Anyways, if you are following along, I'm going to tell you I make a very drastic change to this layout at the end, which you don't see, but I will talk about that later. So you might want to wait to see if what I do is something you would want to do. Now, I am following along. If you've, again, been following this series, I am trying my best to follow their little idea sheet that they have there. Now, this month was very easy, other than trying to decide which cardstock or solid paper to cut into here because I had to stretch it. But it was very easy. I'm extremely happy with the way that this layout turned out. It's a double page and I think it's really pretty. I had a little bit of trouble because, of course, I liked both sides of the pattern paper again, so I'm trying to decide exactly what I want to do. So I decide I'm just going to go ahead and basically follow what they have and go with it. What I was thinking was maybe possibly using the floral background that was on that other sheet, but I wanted some of the cut aparts because, again, that's what they had. So I am going to put up the measurements that I use up on the screen. The measurements this time basically go for both pages. So just an FYI. It does say both pages if you are interested. I am going for 1 inch with this one, and these will be the top strips. And then I'm going to do 3 inches. And I believe they're 9 inches in width, just so you know. But again, that will be on the screen. You can pause it and get the measurements a little better if you like. I am going to go ahead and trim all these down, just making sure this one was even, but they don't line up. This is one of those double pages where I don't have anything line up in the middle, which I don't do very often, and I actually really like it. You can see that I'm using a pink sheet, which I have had to cut out probably a photo mat for another layout. And I'm just going to cover it up. I do think I added like a scrap piece of white cardstock behind it just to make it a little easier. So, but that's no big deal because again, it's just like getting your paper. It's simple, it's easy to do, and you get a little bit more. And again, and I've mentioned with this series that it becomes a little bit troublesome at times, so I kind of had to do that. I'm lining up the strips, so you can see that green strip, I believe, is 10 inches long. And so it is a little bit longer, which I like the look of that. And again, I'm pretty much following what they have with their little sample piece. Now this die cut, if you are wondering, just a piece of the orange pattern paper, part of, the pieces that it's not a solid, it's part of the collection for this month, or one of the like 6x6 pieces, I believe. But if you were wondering, because it does have a little decorative mark, I want to say those are Pink Fresh Studio or some kind of one of the P words. Like, I don't think it's Picket Fence. I'm pretty sure it's like a Pink Fresh Studio or something. One of their circle dies that they have. If I can find it and remember, I will link it below. They do different decorative outlines on their dies. They have like squares, and they keep, every once in a while they keep expanding, but the ones I got were the circles in the very beginning, and I kind of like the little bit decorative. It's not just a plain old circle, but even just a circle would work, or scallop circle. Now it's about 3.5 to 4, or to more like 3 3/4 wide. I didn't have an exact measurement for it, so just anything that's around that size will work. Now, again, this layout goes together a lot more simply than a lot of the other ones do. And I was just looking at it this Mother's Day. I don't really have pictures that would go well with this layout, but it doesn't actually say Happy Mother's Day anywhere on the layout. So I might just add pictures that is about a mom. So if you're doing this, you could simply, there is a strip that says Happy Mother's Day if you wanted to do Mother's Day, but I think I'm just going to do pictures of me and my kids, and you can see this little speech bubble. Again, all of this is almost exactly what they have on their little, let me look at the little sheet. Yeah, I mean, this is basically exactly almost to what they have. I'm looking here. They do have a little scalloped strip, which I didn't put the size on there, but it's just about 1/4 inch, and you will see that in the end. And again, I did pop up all the gnomes with some foam tape. And also as well, I did pop up the word mom. I thought that that was kind of, I wanted something up in that cluster to be popped up to kind of go with the, you know, the flow of it all. And so I just went with the word mom, and it worked really well. Now I'm doing basically the exact same thing for the second page. Now this is a double page layout. So like I said, I'm not used to doing layouts that are not, you know, usually when I do a double page, I have the papers meet in the middle, but you don't have to do that. And I really like how this one turns out. I think it's really pretty, and I think it'll be great. I can't wait to add photos. I have had a couple questions. I am going to add all the photos and do a like recap towards the end of the year. I'm going to try to get photos on every one of the layouts. I can't guarantee that I will. For example, the January one, it does have the month January on there, and we ended up not getting any snow in January. We did in February and even in April, but but of course none in January. So I may or may not have photos on everyone, but so far January I think is the only one that I haven't added photos to. My goal was to try to have the photos on there by the time these layouts went up, but it just didn't work out that way. This circle is again at one of the Pink Fresh circles, or whatever company it is. That again, I'll link it below, but it does look a little smaller now that I look at it, so that one's probably more of a 3-inch circle. Now I have this little piece here, and this is the scallop that I was talking about that they added. Now they add it with this blue side up, and it's kind of like a florally color. I'm looking, yeah. Actually, they have a different piece on theirs. Well, I don't know. I can't really tell. But to me, it blended in quite a bit, and I wasn't that crazy about it. So I tried the opposite side, and it just wasn't looking right to me. And oh, a little bit of information. I had to buy a new one of those scalloped Stampin' Up punches. Unfortunately, mine's like, I don't know, you can't really tell. I don't know if you can see it in the still shot photos, but mine was just not, I've tried everything as far as sharpening, you know, with punching this and aluminum foil and all this stuff, all those different things, but I just couldn't get mine to work right. So I just went ahead. I found one that was cheap. It was new, amazingly, on eBay, so I just went ahead and went for that. But it is one of my most beloved punches. I do have dies that would work, but you know, sometimes a border punch you can just grab and go, so it works just as well, right? This side, again, I'm just kind of trying to mimic what's on the left-hand page. So the one thing that's kind of a little bit off here is that there's a gnome kind of in both, you know, same spots as the layout. So let me look at my layout. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done this. Yeah, it looks like it really, I do add a little cluster up kind of in the middle on the right-hand side on the top left of the right page. How about that? I do add a little cluster so that your eye kind of zigzags from top to bottom, up, down, over the 2 pages. Now I'm just taking all the little leftover stickers, and here's where I decide to add a little cluster because I felt like it needed something up there. Now I will tell you what I do. I finished this layout and I don't like it. So I went ahead and I cut, and you will see it in the still shot photos, but I cut apart around that black pattern paper and cut off all that dark pink, and I mounted everything on a white piece of cardstock, and then I mounted that on the pink again. So you will see that in the still shot photos. That was the big major thing that I changed. So here you can kind of see, oh, I also added some pink gems, and I love the gems. They like match perfectly. But I just couldn't go for that bright pink background. It just wasn't me. So I went ahead and went for the white, which you will see here. And it was annoying, but if you want to follow along, then I would suggest maybe starting on the white cardstock instead of doing everything the hard way like I did. And of course, here is the calendar piece and my leftovers. So thank you everyone for joining me this month. If you have any questions, please leave a note below and I will try to get back to you. Thanks so much for watching me and joining, and I will see you next month.